Welcome back, everybody, to Huobi Global Live. My name is Darko, your host this evening, and tonight we are joined by special guest Dennis, the product advisor at Decentral Bank. Welcome to the live stream. How are you feeling today, this morning, depending which part of the world you are from?
Well, I'm from that part of the world that a few centuries ago was considered to be the end of the world.
Oh.
We're here in Lisbon, pretty sunny, and awesome weather, awesome mood. So let's start.
Awesome. And tonight we're discussing USN, the future of stablecoins. Very exciting stuff. And hello to everybody watching in the live chat box in the official Huobi Global app, Facebook Live, and on YouTube. If you are watching on the official Huobi Global app, please get involved in the live chat. Let us know which country you are watching from and smash that like button and enjoy the stream. So tonight, Dennis, I will be asking you a series of questions, get to know a bit more about you and USN. But before we get into that, can I just quickly ask you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe how you got into crypto and why?
Thanks for the intro. Thanks for the great question to kick off the stream. For 19 years, I have been doing various products and projects in IT. I've been all over the place, from doing some websites, as all of us did some time ago, to mobile games and to some enterprise solutions.
Yep.
And it was always creating of products, value, and teams. And then I was extremely lucky to be invited to advise for DCB as a product advisor, because my overall experience is something I believe the project lacked at some point, but now the whole community is with us, and I believe that my entry into the Web3 world was as fast, as surprising for me, and as fascinating as it could only have been. I'm a great believer in what the whole community is doing with the USN and the DCB in general.
And it's probably very amazing, as you might have witnessed, how fast this industry can change and move, especially overnight. Things can move very, very quickly in this space. So, no, awesome stuff. Now, I want to pick your brain a little bit tonight and learn more. So, can you tell us more about NEAR ecosystem and the ultimate USN goal in it?
Thanks again for a great question. NEAR, I truly believe that future is near is future. Me among many other people from the community. But speaking about USN, the USN's ultimate goal is to become the backbone of decentralized finance on NEAR and Aurora ecosystems at first, and then go cross-chain in general. Here we're speaking about USN becoming the connector, let's say the payment protocol between all the DeFi applications. But what is more important, we're looking into the future, and the future is in that point where the Web2 world slowly, but inevitably moves towards becoming the Web3 world. We, all of us, clearly understand what are the amazing benefits that the technology of blockchain brings to the world and the planet in general. So we here, and I personally, are big believers that NEAR protocol is an amazing technology by itself, is an amazing community, and USN within that community has the ultimate goal of becoming the protocol, the backbone of payments. Why we believe that is possible? Well, because USN has a bunch of truly unique features. The first is native yields, and hopefully we'll be discussing that a little bit more detail pretty soon.
Yes, please.
But also, the Decentral Bank is planning on doing a few really cool features as commissions in USN to be paid in USN, the cross-chain minting, etc. But I hope we'll discuss it a little bit later.
Sure thing. So you did mention yields. Now, with regards to rewards, how does staking rewards convert to USN? How does that work? And do you use NEAR to mint more USN or sell NEAR?
Thanks. Great question, and the order of questions is so logical. I like it. It's really important to understand the whole historical background of how USN was growing and evolving. Let me remind you and the audience is that the first version launched in April of this year had NEAR and USDT in its reserves, which were automatically rebalanced. And that was the first step towards being able to take that NEAR from the reserves, stake it, and the converted awards would be then converted to USN. But then, obviously, after the well-known market conditions that happened, market situation that happened in the May of this year, the whole community, I would say, had to reconsider what stablecoins should be, and USN started evolving into version 2, which is minting and redeeming for stablecoins for now. And very soon, Decentral Bank will announce USN version 3, which we'll be also speaking a little later. But the most important is that, answering your question, is that the NEAR that is within reserves is indeed staked. The NEAR received as staking award is then not sold on the market, but it's again returned to the system. And in version 3, collateral depth positions will be used to mint USN from NEAR. And it creates an endless loop. NEAR is staked, the rewards in NEAR are returned to the system, USN is minted, more NEAR is staked. So basically, over-collateralized approach to minting USN from NEAR is exactly what will be used.
So let's just go over that one more time. So you stake the USN.
You stake NEAR from the reserves.
From the reserves.
From the reserves.
Yep.
Receive awards from staking, which is NEAR as well. And you mint USN from that NEAR using collateral depth position, which allows to mint USN with over-collateralized amount of NEAR.
That's different. To my knowledge, that's different. I'm not sure if I've heard something like that before.
Well, I think that is a pretty unique feature. Why? Because literally, the central bank utilizes the core feature, I would say, yeah, absolutely. The core feature of NEAR protocol, that since it's DPoS protocol, you then can use NEAR, support the decentralization, support the consensus, and the awards that you receive in NEAR can go into that loop that then can generate USN, for example. I think it's pretty unique.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I don't know if you have any video examples online, or maybe in the future if you don't, but it's something I'd love to see visually as well. Like, I'm actually really interested to learn more, but I think I need to see it as well, because I'm an audio visual person. I need to see it and hear it. But that sounds really, I'm just picturing it in my mind now, but that sounds really unique, as you mentioned. So that leaves us to your reserves. What can we say about your reserves? What's the amount?
That's another question that I absolutely love. Yeah. I'll be honest. The super detailed reply to this question will come in the, I think, coming weeks.
Yep.
According to the roadmap that I'm aware of, by no later than by mid-fall of 2000 of this year. Yeah. But basically, currently the reserves, currently USN is in version 2, which is a transition between version 1 and version 3. Version 2 currently has the reserves consisting of NEAR that was left from version 1, where users could mint USN from NEAR directly.
Yep.
And currently, reserves consist of some amount of NEAR and majority of stable coins. The transition, the current collateralization ratio is around 150%. And as we transact to the version 3, a number of whitelisted volatile assets will be allowed to be used to mint USN using CDPs. And I think in the next 4 or 5 weeks, a number of extremely important things will go live. First of all, USN v3 will go live. Second, public dashboard will go live.
Okay.
And third, exactly as you mentioned, the website with a lot of visual materials that explain exactly this, exactly how NEAR is staked and awards are generated. How, for example, USN v3 core works, etc., etc. So yeah, the team is paying great attention to make that visual aspect happen. And of course, we all wish it would have come earlier, but it is what it is. Yep. So to make a conclusion, the reserves consist of NEAR and USDT currently, and USDT is majority, and the overcollateralization ratio is around 150%.
Okay. And where could we take a look if we wanted to take a look? Is there anywhere we can have a look?
Currently, the dashboard is not public, but it will be public in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so everything will be up on the dashboard in 2-3 weeks.
Absolutely, with the ability to check all the smart contracts, etc., as transparent as it can only be.
Is there anything else you're allowed to mention about the dashboard, or do we have to wait and see until it launches?
Well, the biggest secret that it will have beautiful charts. Yeah, it will. The dashboard will include all the info, first of all, on the emission. The basics are how much is total emitted, how much circulating supply, which is on the market, how much minted and redeemed was. You will be able to go as deep as to hourly data. So the initial view, the basic view is daily or weekly or monthly, as you prefer, but then you can go hourly. And then, of course, that's about emission of USN. But then the important thing is, of course, the state of reserves. Yes. And the how they're growing, how they're declining, how they're rebalancing. So all the numbers about how many % of USDT in the reserves, how many % of NEAR in the reserves, and all the corresponding chart. You know, pretty nice. Of course, we're working on that dashboard already. The team is working. So all the data that is able to answer the basic questions, where everything comes from, how everything changes, and let's say what are the dynamics. And of course, it will have a little bit info on the actual smart contract addresses to check everything yourself, to be absolutely sure that the data you see on the screen is exactly the data on chain, because otherwise it literally makes no sense.
Nice. Awesome. So what is your uniqueness compared to other stablecoins?
I would point out 3 or 4 main points. One of the points was mentioned earlier, and that is native yield that is generated from staking the NEAR from the reserves. Yep. So let me remind you, USN will be minted for NEAR using CDPs, which makes it safe. And the NEAR from the reserves will be then staked into validators, and the received awards, again in NEAR, will be used to generate USN. So that is the unique feature that not many systems can offer. The other thing is that we will be offering extremely low fees for swapping stable coins into USN, extremely low, close to 0. And the third really cool feature that we believe is absolutely mandatory if we want USN to become the backbone of DeFi and retail payments on NEAR, and actually wider, not only on NEAR, is that in order to pay in USN, you will not need the other currency like NEAR, for example, to pay for gas. So imagine if you would not need ETH to pay for payments in USDT, how much cooler it would be. Obviously, a lot cooler. But the, but the thing is that technically, that's not really solvable for USDT. But USN is in a different position from the point of view that the whole NEAR ecosystem and the community, I believe, is very special. I personally love it a lot. And this means that you're able to build really competitive and cutting edge solutions, being sure that even the protocol team may look at them, and create things that are pretty much thinking out of the box. So in nearest future, in order to transact in USN, make a payment, you will not need NEAR. And we believe that's an awesome feature. And lastly, the USN version 3 that will be presented on NearCon in the next few days is, I believe, is a pretty fresh, I would put it like this, pretty fresh look at how you can create an over-collateralized stablecoin when there will be two cores. One core is let's call it a stable swap, where you can quickly swap between stable coins and USN with 1-to-1 ratio. Yep. Of course, it will have its own security mechanism to make sure that the reserves don't dry out in case of one of the stable coins depegging, for example. But the other core, working and living absolutely in parallel, will be the CDP-based model. To be simple, take maker model, take Burrow, which is pretty big on NEAR, and modify it, and that's what it would be. So we will be able to bring in volatile collateral like ETH, BTC, whatever, NEAR, of course, and law on USN. And those two cores working in parallel, not to say that this system solves anything new compared to current model of DAI, no, but the implementation is pretty fresh. That's a fresh look at it. Being able to target retail users and also DeFi users.
Nice. It's a pretty big statement to make. Very ambitious. Very ambitious. So what mechanism does USN have to escape the dreaded death spiral?
Beautiful question. The interesting thing is that I remember like a few months ago, it was asked much more often than today. I wonder, did anything change on the market that people suddenly forgot about the death spiral, or maybe they just got tired of discussing it. But when building USN, I know for sure that contingency methods and security mechanism against death spiral happening were always there. Speaking about USN version 3 that I've just described, when again it has two cores, the stable swap core and this CDP-based core, there will be two main mechanisms. The first one is the mechanism that, without digging into details, but make sure that when you exchange stable coins 1-to-1 and one of the stable coins depegs, you're not able to take all of the other much more expensive stable coin out of the reserve. So basically, there are some automatic limitations that make it useless and making no sense. And speaking about CDPs, which are collateral depth positions, the very core of DAI, for example, right? And the very core of many lending protocols, it's a simple architecture, pretty reliable, very strong. We've seen CDP models go through various market conditions when you have the over-collateralized, the CDP has over-collateralized amount of volatile assets, and then if that volatile assets goes down in price, the liquidations happen. Now, the question is that there are conditions, and in 2018, we've seen that happen to DAI back then as well. Liquidations need to be fast and effective. Because if liquidations are not fast enough, or they don't have access to enough liquidity, it actually puts them under risk. And that theoretically can cause a death spiral. But again, if you target all of that, that system becomes truly reliable, very predictable, and by design, being able to fight against the conditions of death spiral creating. I'm quite sure that these aspects for USN v3 are absolutely covered, and as usual, there are more interesting things to build in future, right? And who knows what future brings us, but making sure that the death spiral never happens to USN is the #1 priority for the team for sure.
You make it sound so simple, and it makes me wonder how some others got it so wrong. But I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm hearing. Anything else you wish to add to that?
I just wanted to say that I guess on one hand it's quite simple to speak about all of this after seeing so many things happen on the market, right? And after looking at all the designs out there. But devil is, as usually, in the details. We know that for sure. So as usually, it's all about making sure it actually works, making sure that your liquidations, for example, actually have access to liquidity. So this is all about these details, but knowing the Decentral Bank team pretty well and seeing how much support from the community is received, gives us strong hope that USN has all the chances to make sure that these questions are targeted and they don't suddenly become a big and unpleasant surprise for everybody. I'm very positive in this respect, in these regards.
Nice. Now, I know you pretty much hinted this a bit earlier, and you just touched very little bit on this, but are there any plans in the near future to introduce USN cross-chain in a bit more detail, if possible?
Great question, thank you. Absolutely, absolutely. As mentioned in the very beginning, the USN is to become the backbone of DeFi on Near, but let's be honest, not only on Near. And we believe that not only modern technologies are just a few steps away from that actually happening. I mean, we can look at multiple examples, like Rainbow Bridge as a beautiful, beautiful, outstanding example of connecting various blockchains. And I've been speaking to a few people from the team, and I know that the updates of the near future will allow it to become even better and even faster, being the same decentralized and the same reliable and fast. So this story is about, I think this whole cross-chain story is very Web3-ish, which I absolutely love about this industry. And, it starts from open source code and ends up with actually building that future when you're not trying to make only your project as good as possible, not only your blockchain as good as possible, but you understand that it's about building that whole layer 0, I would say, infrastructure when the blockchains are interconnected and all these things work cross-chain. Now, answering the question of will USN become cross-chain in the near future? Absolutely. I know for sure that the team has the plans for USN becoming cross-chain by end of 2022.
Oh, nice!
And I love one very simple example that we are great believers, and we've received a lot of support from the community in regards of offering to bring collateral on Ethereum, for example, and getting your USN on Near, for example. And of course, not only on Near in the future, because this allows you to be fast, cost-effective, right? And more user-friendly. And again, let's be honest, you and I have a great idea, all the community and everybody watching us have a great idea of what blockchain and Web3 brings to the world, right? But let's be honest, right now, it is far, far from the convenience we're all looking forward, right? It's pretty complicated, but we want to be user-friendly, easy, convenient. We want our grandparents to use Web3 solutions easily.
Yeah.
And guess what? That is pretty much impossible without USN going cross-chain, without being able to bring your ETH or BTC on Ethereum, wherever, and minting minting USN on Near, and then easily transacting it to Tron, for example, right? I know for sure that USN team is not limited with only the blockchain where the whole project was initiated, and we believe that today offers us all the mechanisms and I would say even all the hints of understanding of what tomorrow should become. So yeah, cross-chain is absolutely on the roadmap, hopefully by end of the year. Of course, there are quite a bit of technical details to be solved. One of which is we want it to be truly decentralized. truly decentralized, and that's actually a separate subject to discuss.
Yep.
Not sure if we'll cover it today, but absolutely for sure, any straightforward centralized decision is not something that the team will go with, and for sure not something that the community will accept. So right now, we're waiting for a few solutions to go to the market, whether we go with them, whether we think about doing something ourselves. And when we say we, I mean the team in general, the advisors, the community, right? So yeah, cross-chain is the future, and USN will be cross-chain.
So basically, when it comes to cross-chain, all doors are open. Basically, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the lovely thing about Web3 and blockchain, that there's no way anyone can close your doors. So it's all up to you how much you wish to open them. And I know for sure that people around USN and in DCB are dreamers and are doers. So yeah, all will happen.
Just like we say, we can open the door for you, but it's up to you to walk through it, as they say.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice. So the possibilities are endless, in a nutshell. So what have you learned? And this is a juicy question, really juicy. I couldn't wait to ask you this question. What have you learned from UST's collapse?
Okay. Lovely.
Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. So honestly speaking, UST collapse was a just terrible event for the crypto industry.
Absolute disaster.
And so let's call spade a spade. And of course, I'm sure that we, among everybody else, analyzed that event and the whole situation and learned a lot. One thing became clear is that pure algo stables do not really work. And that is the reason why USN was never, even starting from the V1, was never a pure algo stable. And there was always a fraction, a noticeable fraction, sometimes up to 90% of the reserve in stable coins, because that system needs to be rebalanced, because otherwise you don't have the answer, like, what you're gonna do when the collateral goes down in price by 4x in 2 hours, right? That is a cause for the death spiral.
Yeah.
So that question should be answered by any stable coin, right? And as versions of USN evolve, I believe the answer for that becomes better and better, and that's why again USN was and will be an over-collateralized stable coin. Now, another lesson learned is that liquidity needs to be built before stable coin grows crazy big on the money market. Yeah. And that is why right now we are paying great attention to I'm personally advising the DCB team to pay great attention to how rewards are distributed and what protocols are among those that receive rewards, like REF, like Tree Solaris, like order books coming soon. Oh, cool. And that is extremely important, because problems with the liquidity while the death spiral was starting out for UST was something that added up to that death spiral, and made it even worse. So that is a very important thing to be targeted. Another thing that I know for sure is that DCB team will not tolerate looping of USN as it happened with UST, when those multiple leverage strategies, when UST was used to borrow more UST and deposit more, which creates an insane loop. Yeah. Literally a pyramid, like a little Ponzi scheme. Yeah. It's all about making sure that the design doesn't fall for it, And because any tiny wormhole that you offer will be found and then abused. And once it's abused by really big market players, and we know such things happening, you can hardly offer anything against that. And that is a huge problem. And all becomes small and becomes big and then uncontrollably big. And that's how you go south. Mm-hmm. So DCB team will not allow that to happen. Why? Why? Because there is a very important, how would you say it? Concept. That there is an extremely important concept behind USN as a product, is that money is not created from thin air. Let's make it very clear. And these things is really important to understand. This means that DCB team and USN will not offer multiple opportunities or whatever, as some other stablecoins might offer, because sustainability is important. And sustainability never comes cheap and cannot go hand in hand with insane yields. I mean, let's be clear.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Nothing is born from nowhere, right? The law of energy, everything has its reason. And basically, we need to understand that when yields are reasonable, yields are sustainable, all the mechanisms are transparent, money is not printed, that is the way to go. Because I'm sure that the market doesn't want to wake up another morning and feel as bad or even worse as they felt when Terra collapsed. Yeah. So keeping that in mind, the bigger something becomes, the more robust the basic settlement needs to be, the more stronger the security has to be. And that is why DCB is concentrated on slow, predictable, sustainable, and transparent growth. Not only, again, I'm not pointing fingers, but we all know how the market evolved. Not when one single protocol is responsible for 80% of your liquidity. I mean, clearly everyone understands why that happened, but that is not something that I would personally advise DCB to ever play with, because then it has a chance to play a bad game with you. Yeah. And the most important is that the central bank is creating USN in mind that it needs to stand through extremely tough market conditions of the future. At the same time, be able to offer sustainable yields. And here you basically choose what you want to concentrate upon, how much of stability you want to add into this recipe, how much sustainability, how much yield you want to add. And clearly the decision for now is towards more stability, more sustainability, more transparency, compared to insane and sometimes even rather fake yields that create the risk of collapsing. So yeah, USN is about being stable and being strong, and the yields becoming very organic as a result of multiple integrations, rather than taking any other approach.
And having yields that are realistic and sustainable for the whole ecosystem as well, basically.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Would it be? Yeah, go on.
No. I just wanted to add. Otherwise, the system that has unsustainable and unpredictable yields is a system that will be abused just by a bunch of degens and DeFi users in a short period of time. Yeah. In a short period of time, but in a big scale, will not realistically become the backbone of payments, for example, or the backbone of DeFi. So that's, I mean, let's be clear, we are all like in the beginning of 90s, we're part of a huge experiment. Back then they were building internet in a big scale, in the wide understanding. Here we're building something on top of it, and everything that's happening is a great experiment. Well, except some straightforward scam projects that just always will exist. We're not speaking about those, obviously. But here, if we're saying that we want USN and the whole community wants USN to become the backbone of payments and DeFi on near and around near, obviously we should not think about unrealistic yields. We need to think about mechanisms that will allow it to grow organically and become sustainable through the tough market conditions. I think that these are the priorities that allow anyone to be honest with everybody else.
Yeah, there have been some other brands out there that had yields of 1,000,000%, 500,000%, 250,000%, and they did not last very long. They lasted days, literally days, and they were gone after that. So it's really important, as you said, to keep it realistic and sustainable, and to help it ensure it has a long-term future, because it's not a short-term thing. So this is here to stay, and for it to stay around for a long time, it must be sustainable and realistic at the same time. So I also just want to quickly ask you on that topic of UST, coming from the background that you have and the involvement you have with Decentral Bank and USN, what exactly went through your mind when you witnessed the collapse of UST? Coming from your experience with what you do, because not everybody does what you do, but from your side of things, like what went through your mind? Was it absolute shock and terror, or was it like whatever? Like, how did you feel with your knowledge when you saw that happen?
Well, thank you. That's a great question, and I would say I would ask you to allow me to answer it extremely personally. And again, everything that I've been mentioning, starting from the vision for near ecosystem and USN, etc., that is absolutely my personal point of view. And as they say, official sources may have some other information, but for me, the whole Terra collapse was. Let me remind you that all my previous years I was building quite a lot of interesting things, but they were outside of the Web3 scope, outside of the Web3 industry.
Yeah.
So for me, finding about Terra, pretty far from the collapse yet, was something pretty new to me personally. And I honestly speaking, believe that, let's say, the arbitrage mechanism of Terra was a beautiful and pretty interesting mechanism to peg the price, etc. But because I was personally speaking, I was extremely far from the Web3 and the DeFi world and understanding the reality, for me, making the judgment of how stable or how sustainable or how strong the whole Terra could be was a question I could never answer myself, right? Before I started working with DCB. Before that, I did a lot of reading, obviously, and I had quite a bit of knowledge. But so one question in my own mind, always present there, was like, hey, how Terra would react to Luna going X amount, in price down in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the market didn't ever show such conditions actually happening, that never meant that it would not happen. And I know that Terra became huge and a lot of people earned big money on it. And all in all, I think it was a very strong, big product out there. I'd like to pay full respect to the team. But I personally, speaking personally about me, would always go to sleep and think that I would do all my best to make sure that USN has the answer to a simple question. What happens if the collateral goes down in price by X amount? And USN, I know for sure, that was built from the very beginning, keeping that question in mind. USN went pretty well through the situation that happened in the beginning of May. Nevertheless, we all know that now there's USN v2 and soon will be USN v3. Why? Because we believe that the market deserves even better mechanisms to be secure from those market conditions. So my point of view was that the question of what happens if was always open for Terra. And I don't want to sound as if I'm the only one who thought about it. No. A lot of people knew about it. But me, having zero experience understanding the actual market realities, I would treat it extremely, for me, it was an extremely sharp question. Maybe I exaggerated it for myself much more maybe than it was worth it. But again, the collapse happened. At the point when the collapse happened, I personally had to do a lot of reading, speak a lot to guys from the industry to really understand what has happened, because still, you know, it was pretty new to me. I understood that I did not over-exaggerate the importance of that question for myself.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, the market is evolving. A lot of people are becoming rich, understanding how it's working, improving mechanism, building new DeFi projects. I think that was a great lesson for everybody. It was, you know, like a stress test, I would call it. It was a stress test for the whole industry to understand that everybody wants yields. That's one thing. But you should not be so greedy that it creates that whole situation when the market just grows and everything is good, and then that black swan event comes.
Yeah.
And then everybody is biting their elbows, especially those who are at the end of the line, because obviously they paid the yields for the first of the line, you know, in the line. It's like, you know, I read a beautiful meme where it said, if you don't know where your yield is coming from, you are the yield.
Yeah.
So I think it's true.
Yeah, like I keep telling people on this channel, I keep telling them, look, it's fine to be greedy, but never get too greedy. And we are all here for one reason, really. I mean, besides the whole thing that we believe in the technology, that's a different thing altogether. But at the end of the day, we're all here to make money, and we are motivated by greed, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a human thing. It's fine. But it's when we become too greedy, we become complacent, and that's when we really shoot ourselves in the foot. And I've seen a lot of people make some very expensive mistakes in this space because they got too greedy, and they ended up losing a lot, if not everything. So yeah, greed, fine, but too greedy, not good. I keep telling everybody on this channel. So yeah, so at the end of the day, what would you say would be your approach and main focus as a highlight for USN?
If I would prefer to elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah.
First of all, sustainability, stability, very true. What's that word?
Transparency.
Transparency, absolutely, and high adoption.
Yes.
High adoption, consisting of multiple. You know, it's multifaceted. All of this is a multifaceted concept. High adoption with applications, with DeFi protocols, wallets, cross-chain aspect is part of that.
The whole package.
So, yeah, the whole package. And in order to build that out smart, you should not rush. So I would think that USN and DCB will be a great example of how to be fast without rushing. Because, you know, that saying, I heard it some time ago, I personally love it. You know, it's like, what is the difference between fast and slow? Fast is slow, but without pauses.
True.
So
yeah,
in order to be fast, you just steadily move at some reliable speed, and at the end you will be much faster than everyone who did little sprints and then would fall into their own traps and try to get out of them. But then if you fall in a pitfall that is as 3 times as high as you are, you won't get out of it. So better don't rush and don't make mistakes, and you'll get where you want to get.
Nice, very well put. Very well put. So, thank you so much for coming on board tonight. We learnt a lot about USN. Is there anything else you wish to tell the audience before we give this stream a wrap?
First of all, I would like to thank you and Huobi for inviting to this beautiful event.
And thank you as well.
Second is, I would love to see more and more people start learning more about USN, and obviously it's the responsibility of the DCB team to start providing more materials, and I know for sure that is coming with a new website.
Yep.
We believe that majority of users will love USN, and the only thing that I'd like to wish people watching us, but the whole industry in general, that I know for sure that we're all dreamers, right? And we want tomorrow to be here today already. And all of that makes us create new wonderful projects and make them big. But the most important, I think, that the industry will never have enough is the ability to learn from its own mistakes. So I think the more we learn from our own mistakes, the more we learn from mistakes of others, will make tomorrow become today faster. So I would wish this to everybody.
So for more information, where can the audience go to find out more about USN?
The DCB Medium channel, the website that will be updated to a new, beautiful, much more information, a rich version in the coming days. I think that's to happen during NearCon. I'd like to invite everyone who is in Europe, around Europe, or wants to make a nice 16-hour flight to Lisbon, I don't know, from East, for example, come over to NearCon. I'm pretty sure that will be a beautiful event in Lisbon. I will be talking along with our commercial lead, Mark. There will be a beautiful panel with Huobi. There will be another beautiful panel on stablecoins. Yeah, there will be a lot of events happening. So I'm inviting everybody.
Nice. Hopefully people can make it. So when is that happening, did you say?
Next week.
Oh, next week.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know.
Oh, wow. Nice. Nice. Awesome.
So are you coming?
I will not be able to make it as it's too soon notice for me and I've got too many things. But perhaps another time we can meet and have a drink in person and talk some crypto. Why not? But it's a little bit too soon for me. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the world right now, so it's going to be too much to organize. Too much. But hopefully you enjoy it. You'll have a lot of fun and have even more fun being the speaker there as well. So that sounds very exciting. Good on you. You must be very excited.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So in the future, please feel free to come back in the future with any announcements and updates and some more crypto talk if you want. You're always welcome back. And big thank you to everybody watching, especially in the official Huobi Global app. We have 17,300 people watching this live stream and 307,000 likes have been smashed in the live chat box. So thank you to everybody.
Beautiful.
For tuning in and watching. And again, you can follow up on USN with the medium you said, which was USN Medium. What is it? Decentral Bank Medium?
It's a Decentral Bank. Yeah, the links can be found on the website.
Okay, cool. And the website is, do you want to announce the website now or do you want to wait for the update?
Decentral-bank.finance.
Decentral-bank.finance.
Finance.
Oh,
Yes.
Easy. Decentral-bank.finance. To everybody who wants to learn more, feel free. And I'm sure you'll find their socials there as well, which you can join, and feel free to say hello, tell them Darko sent you, and give them a little bit of a hard time for me, please. But make sure you tell them that I sent you there as well. And yeah, if you want to look up USN for a sustainable, realistic project that also adds in transparency, USN's the way to go. Check them out. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. It's free to have a look, right? Right. Awesome. All right, Dennis, I thank you so much for coming on board. It's been an honor and pleasure meeting you. And hopefully we get to see you back again in the future with further news and updates. And
I would absolutely love to.
Awesome. And again, thank you to everybody for watching. Until next time, please be safe, be healthy, trade wise, and as always, rock on.